Wednesday, October 23rd. And I've totally missed a story from over the weekend, and I apologize. And this is another example. As a quick aside, I am not on social media. I am not on the internet like you kids. And I've been telling you, it's starting to build in me that I really feel like I'm missing things. Like there's an alternate universe out there that I'm just not aware of. Like things are being said and things are happening, and I'm sort of like in this alternate world where I'm unaware of it. And one of those things is what happened over the weekend in Utah, where Jim Montgomery shoved his captain on the bench, like in anger, seriously. And I guess I don't know this because a little checked out from the weekend, focused on the Patriots and whatever. And I was out of town and I just wasn't paying attention like I should. But it also, this shove was not reported in the traditional media. It only was online, unless I'm missing something.
No, I don't think it was. I think you're right.
Just a clip on the internet.
Was it written in a newspaper?
No.
Was it written on one of these online sites?
I don't think so.
No.
Who's traveling with the Bruins? They were in Utah on Saturday where they lost in overtime, and then Nashville last night. So they've been on the road. I know Jim McBride with the Globe is with them. Is anyone else? I don't know if Fluto is because I don't think Fluto's writing this week. I looked for a story today online on The Athletic. I didn't see it. So, again, am I just catching up? If I missed it, I've missed it. So on Saturday night, the Bruins gave up what they thought was a game-tying goal in the third period. It was brought back on replay. But afterwards, Jim Montgomery was seen on the bench reaming Brad Marchand to the point where he went down there and gave him a shove in the back. And not like a love tap, not like a shove. And the first I heard of it was last night when Gasper said something to me off the air in between commercials. He said, how about the Montgomery shoving Marchand? I'm like, huh? I mean, what are you talking? So again, it's like one of these things that's only online and I'm missing it. And it's beginning to build. It's frustrating me. And it frustrates me that we can't get any coverage on this in the traditional media. How has no one written this in a regular, non-online publication? How is this possible? So, like, this part of this rant is, how come this isn't being covered? Why do I miss all these things? Side topic. But now, okay, here we are with the Bruins. They don't give up the lead on that goal in Utah. They give it up on another goal and then lose in overtime because they go shorthanded on a horrible David Pastrnak penalty, correct?
Correct.
Last night, so then after that, they lose Saturday in Utah. Apparently, Montgomery gives them a day off and then has a real hard practice or puts them through their paces or whatever. Like, really gets after them in a practice where they don't even really practice that well. And then he really mixes up his lines. Okay, so just sort of add all this together. He shoves Marchand on the bench. They lose in overtime. He calls him out, practices him hard, changes up the lineup. And then last night goes into Nashville against the worst team in the league. Mm-hmm. Winless. The only winless team left in the National Hockey League. Worst team in hockey. And they get shut out.
In a barn they haven't lost in since 2018, by the way.
So whatever buttons Montgomery was pushing, literally or figuratively, not only didn't it work, it feels like it went in the other direction.
They were ignored.
Jim Montgomery does not have a contract. He's in a walk year, and he's about to walk the plank. He's done. Finished. It's over. And especially because he took on a player. And what's been going on down there in this era of Bruins hockey is that the organization has bent over backwards for the players. Kowtowed to the players, pandered to the players. What's another word that I'm looking for? Whatever.
Enabled?
They've enabled the players. Thank you, Mazz. It's become really player-centric down there, where the players run the show, the players are catered to, the players are pandered to. And never mind the captain. Montgomery just took on the captain on the bench physically.
Well, case in point, the firing of Bruce Cassidy was because he was too rough on the players and made some of them upset too much. And that's why he was gone.
Bingo! They fired Cassidy because
Jake DeBrusk got all sad.
Oh, and Brandon Carlo, he started to yell at me before I got on the bench as opposed to on the bench. He started saying mean things to me as I was skating to the bench. That's not the way it's done, so they fired him. Now this guy physically pushes the captain on the bench, you're done. It's over.
I mean, that to me is the part of it that's the most important part of the story. He's the captain of the team. So, like, if you start thinking of it in those terms, would he have ever in a million years done that to Bergeron?
How is that only on the internet, secondarily?
Well, part of it is what you're saying. I don't think they're sending people with the team the way that they used to. I mean, that's clear. These things aren't being covered the way that they once were.
I mean, what a disgrace. What it's become. Sad what it's become. That the coach pushes the captain on the bench on Saturday night. And now here we are Wednesday afternoon, and I still don't know if anyone has written it. Again, it's online, and it's on Twitter and these places, but no one's written it. I think Fluto might be off for the week because I subscribed to The Athletic. I got the app here. The last thing what he wrote was on October 14th.
Was that the Pasternak thing about teams won't touch Pasternak?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think Fluto's not with the team. I don't think the Herald travels. Jim McBride, I think, is with the team. How could you be on the road trip with the team and have access to him every day and have the coach push the captain? Let me embellish. Let me play. Assault the captain. Physically interact with the captain on the bench.
It's a good question.
Has anyone asked Montgomery about it? Has anyone asked Marchand about it?
I haven't seen it in any of the local media.
I started to Google around looking for stuff, and all I got is this Elliot Friedman comment on his podcast about his reaction to it. So someone, please, I'm asking because I'm just not blessed with time and whatever.
No, I don't think you're wrong on this. Because, again, I watched that game Saturday, and then I was like, well, that was wild.
Has anyone asked the coach, why did you push your team captain on the bench?
I've seen nothing since, and that's now days ago.
Did anyone ask the team captain, how do you feel about your coach assaulting you on the bench during a game? And I'm over-embellishing that just for the...
No, I like it for...
Oh, no, because I'm the part of my outrage is I covered the Bruins for 2 years for the Herald. I mean, that would be our headline. We'd embellish it. Coach assaults captain on the bench, like the easiest story ever. Like, how is that not asked? How is that not covered? What am I missing? Please tell me I'm missing. Please tell me in my 20 minutes of Googling around, I just missed it. That McBride asked somebody, they gave a no comment, and they just slipped it in the notes somewhere, and I missed it. How's that not a headline? How's that not the story? How's it not a story that the coach is probably about to be fired? They set him up to be fired. Have I mentioned he's without a contract? And he's in his walk year. You know how these guys operate. So a side story is, does he deserve it or not? I go back and forth on that. I'm not the biggest Jim Montgomery fan. I don't know exactly what he's done. He's a great regular season record. I think he's got the best regular season record in hockey since he took the job 2 years ago. He might have the best regular season record in the history of hockey in his first 2 years, for all I know.
He had the highest winning percentage in Bruins history.
I was going to say, he set the record in year one, the NHL record in year one, and then they had like the fifth or fourth, whatever it was, best record last year. So my guess is Jim Montgomery might have one of the best, if not the best, coaching record in the history of the NHL over his first 2 years in a place. So his regular season win percentage is tremendous. They've been much lesser than in the playoffs. And I'll say this about him as well. All of his line changes, I am historically for. I love coaches that mix up the lineup and aren't set on a single lineup and move guys up and down to get a spark. I want my coach doing it that way. Except now I'm 2+ years into this, and when Montgomery does it, it never works. He did it year one against Florida when they were up 3-1. They go down 3-2, and all of a sudden the lines are all over the place. I'm like, I like this. It didn't work. He did it again last year. He did it again just most recently now. It didn't work. Offense can't leak a drop. He mixes up all his lines. They get shut out by the worst team in hockey. So for some reason, when I think about switching lines, I think about Joel Quenneville with the Blackhawks and Kane and Taves, and like, it works. I see Montgomery do it, and it never works. And so, does he deserve it or not? Yeah, probably. Like, what's the diff? The way it works down there is that the GMs don't get fired till they miss the playoffs. They fire coaches while they make the playoffs, but they don't like the way it's going. And so the managers, to cover their ass, fire the coaches. How many coaches did Harry have? Off the top of your head, do you think he had 12?
Oh, something like that, and it was a lot.
I mean, So Harry kept his job for 30 years without a cup, just kept changing coaches, and the owner bought it. And I think Sweeney and Neely know how it's done, and so Montgomery's done. Done. Whether he deserves it or not, part of me thinks he does. The other part of me doesn't want to let management off the hook because they haven't built a good enough team.
They're not playing to their ability, though, Mark. They should be better than they are. Again, they're what, 3-1 or something like that, 3, whatever it is. They're basically a 500 team, which in that league stinks. And on top of it, they lead the league in penalty minutes. They commit stupid penalties. They're supposed to be strong defensively, and there were still guys scoring from directly in front of the net with nobody touching them.
They started the game with a penalty within like 20 seconds last night.
Pasternak.
Like what?
Pasternak.
Ridiculous.
100 penalty minutes, most in the league.
They have a huge issue in their top six, meaning their second line. Charlie Coyle, who is always a reach on the second line, feels like at 32 cashed, or something's not right, or he's just, he was overachieving on the second line to begin with, and that's just not what he is. He has 1 goal, 0 assists in 7 games, -6. Marchand, no goals over 7 games, -3. My buddy John Germain at Boston Sports Inf sent something on these guys going back into last year. Brad Marchand last 32 games, 2 even strength goals. 2.
Holy crap.
Marchand has scored twice even strength in the last 32 games. Charlie Coyle, 1 even strength goal in the last 31.
Their points leader is Cole Koepke.
Three of their top 4 leading scorers are their fourth liners: Koepke, Beecher, and Kastelik.
Those guys have played well. The fourth line's been good.
It's the only one with any kind of continuity. It really is.
So they've got a talent problem up front. Marchand feels kind of cashed. Coyle is being exposed. They have no, sixth forward. So there's no one, but those two were projected solidly top 6. Neither probably deserve it at this stage of their career. And the coach that I mentioned is pushing the captain on the bench in the middle of a third period blown lead. And no one says anything except online. There's a whole side story. Like, what's happened out there with the way we cover sports in this town? What a disgrace. Unless I've missed it. And if I have missed it, someone tell me. Did someone ask Montgomery?
I don't think he's been asked.
Since Saturday night, he did Saturday night post-game in Utah. They practice at least once, which means he's available that day. Then he's available yesterday, pregame and postgame.
Correct, twice yesterday.
So there's been 3 or 4 cracks at Jim Montgomery. Has anyone asked him? Has anyone asked Marchand? Has anyone attempted to write or report out the story of the coach pushing the captain on the bench? God, I know, kids, you don't like to hear this. Like, get off my lawn, but it was so much better the way it used to be. So much better. Where reporters were with the team in the locker room challenging the team. Not just covering for the team or excuse making for the team or blogging about weak side defense with little video clips online. My God, how do we get to this point? The coach pushes the captain on the bench and it still hasn't been covered? How's that possible? But Montgomery's dead. Done. Just a matter of when. Does he make it to, forget U.S. Thanksgiving. How about U.S. Halloween? How about they face Dallas on Thursday?
He's in trouble.
That's
he's in
maybe the
big
best
trouble.
team in the league.
Done.
He's in big trouble.
It's over. See you later.
Because they're playing dumb, too, on top of it.
You don't take on sainted Marchand. You don't take on these guys. St. Patrice, Marshy, Z. You don't take on these guys because these guys now run the show down there. So not only did Montgomery take him on, he pushed him in the middle of the game.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Bruins analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.